Hello, let's do the New York Times Hard Sudoku for November 22nd, 2024. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right, we have two ones here looking in. That puts a 1 up here somewhere. This 8 doesn't have a buddy, but what I'm looking for is other 8s down here, right? This 8, you want to look at these 4 boxes for other 8s. You can see these two 8s affect this box and place the 8 here. We're going to do that basically for every digit in the grid, 1 box at a time. So I've got 1, 5, and 6. We're looking for buddies first. We already did the 1 buddies. 5 and 6, we want to look at these 4 boxes for 5 and 6 and see how those affect these 2 boxes. Hopefully that makes sense. So unfortunately, these 6s do this, right? You can do this in your head. But if it's 3 cells left like this, like it turns a corner, like more than 1 row is involved, it's not helpful. But do take a mental note of like what those cells are, because if you notice a bunch of stuff all limited to just those cells, then you might be able to do something like hidden pair or hidden triple. So that's the 5 and the 6. Actually, the 5 I skipped for some reason, but here's the 5 looking in, here's the 5 looking up. That puts a 5 in one of those two. That's what we're looking for, right? So these 5s, oh, this is 5's already here. This 5 looks into this box. These 5s point in, puts a 5 in one of these two. When we pencil a digit into 2 places, in this case, because we did it in a row, this is in a stack that doesn't already have more 5s in it, doesn't have any 5s in it. What we want to do is we want to look down to see if any of these 2 boxes happen to limit 5s to the same 2 columns. So what we're looking for is 5s in here that would affect that, or just the given placement in here if we're lucky. This 5 looks in here, but unfortunately 5 can escape right there, and there's no 5s down here, right? So this is the kind of thing to train yourself to look for every digit. Now we're just going to look at the 2, 3, 9. We know there's not going to be buddies. We already looked at these 2, but we want to see how the 2, 3, and 9 affect these 2 boxes. So we do have this 9 looking in, this 9 looking up. That does reduce 9 to 2 places. It doesn't point or anything, but it is nice to pencil when it's down to 2 places, no matter how they're oriented. And then we've got the 2 and the 3. So you get used to kind of recognizing what's going to be useful and what won't be, but neither of these are useful, and I'll show you why here. This 2 here leaves 3 places in that L shape, and this leaves 3 places in that L shape. So we're not going to be able to do anything with that. I'm going to take special care to look at this here because we have 4 givens. Basically, we have an empty row and an empty column. Any digit here or here that isn't already placed in the box is going to have a huge effect on that box. Unfortunately, the 1 and the 8 are the only givens here and the pointing 5s, but all of those are already placed in the box, so we can't do anything with that yet. All right, and so now that we've finished with that band, we've looked for what we wanted to look for. There isn't any really opportunity for geometry. I say that, but then I noticed this 1, 8 versus this column here. So there's 2 things you want to look for when you see something like this. So what is the something like this? Well, this column doesn't have a 1 or an 8 in it at all. That's the first thing. We have the 1, 8 here that takes 1 and 8 out of these 3 cells. The rest of the column we need to put a 1 and an 8 in the column. They got to end up down here. Then I'm also noticing we have several givens, again, that aren't 1, 8 already in the column. So what we want to do is we want to think about where can 1 go and where can 8 go. The optimal scenario is if there's only 2 cells left for both 1 and 8 in the same 2 cells, in which case we find a hidden pair. But we don't have that, but what we do have is we have this 1 here and this 8 here. We're looking at these 4 boxes here. And the 1, unfortunately, isn't super helpful. It limits 1 to these 2 cells. We don't know which one it is. The 8 is a bit more helpful, because this 8 does limit the 8 to one of these 2 cells. We would have also gotten the same result, the same eliminations, if we had if we were scanning this band and we saw this 8 and this 8 crossing this 2, 6. So ultimately, what's going to happen is we're going to see that 8s are in one of these 2 and 8s are in one of these 2. The important bit is 8 can't be in one of these 2 cells, because that would both remove 8 entirely from this column and entirely from this box. So like an 8 here, right? If we had an 8 here, there'd be nowhere to put 8 in this box, and there'd be nowhere to put 8 in this column. That would be very bad. We have to put an 8 in every row, column, and box. So, yeah. So that's what I mean by geometry, is we're looking at the shape of the grid and then examining the numbers after we're interested in the shape. This 2, 3 can do something similar to this column. The 2 is already placed, but the 3 isn't in one of these two. And it's also not here. So 3 is limited to these two cells, and that is going to claim the box. So we already know 3 can't be here, and 3 can't be here, but did you know 3 can't be here? Well, not yet. We would have discovered that by scanning this box as well, seeing this 3 come down, and there's a 3 in one of these two. So we have these pointing 3s, and we also have these claiming 3s that tell us that these two can't be 3. For the same reason as the 8. If you're not sure, take a closer look. Pause the video or whatever. All right, so that's the 2 and the 3. The only other thing we might want to look at is whether anything affects this row. Unfortunately, this row doesn't have very many givens in it, so it's very unlikely. This row, okay, so the last thing before we move on from a band is if there's any rows or boxes down to 4 or fewer givens, 4 or fewer open cells, not givens, 4 or fewer open cells, we want to think about what those digits are, and if there's any that are down to 3 or fewer, we want to center mark them. So we have 1, 2, 3, we need 4, 5, 7, 9. And look, we have the 5, 7, and 9 looking at this cell. So the row needs 4, 5, 7, 9. That's the only thing that can go in these cells. But this cell can't be a 5, 7, or 9. So if we were to examine this closely, we know that we need a digit in every cell. And this digit here, I'll mark it green for a second so you know what to focus on. It cannot be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Well, if it can't be any of those digits, the only digit left is the 4. We have to put a digit in there, so we're going to put a 4 in there. It's going to end up being 4 because it can't be anything else. So even though there were other places we could have put 4 in the column, there's other places we could have put 4 in the box. If we did that, we would not be able to fill any digit into this cell, and that would break the puzzle. We would not be able to complete the puzzle. So that's called a naked single. It's actually one of the first techniques most people learn. But some people only learn about hidden singles when learning through this technique. All right. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4. We need the 5, 7, 9. We already know because of these corner mark 5s, also this 5 here. But if we're focusing on the row, sometimes the corner marks help remind you of these things, that this can't be the 5. So this is down to 7, 9 only. We see this 9 here and this 7 here. I'm just going to mark 5, 7, 9. I'm going to clear those out. Okay. There's nothing more we can do with this triple, but it is very handy to have those marked. Okay, and that is why we examine rows, columns, boxes with 4 or fewer, because often you get some nice digits or markings out of it. So this is 5 left, but what I'm seeing here, I scanned, I mean, obviously you glance at this, you hopefully can see there's 5 open cells. If not, you count them. But I'm seeing the corner marks up here. The 1 and the 5 are corner marked up here. It's because of these 1 5s, right? So these two cells, there's 5 digits left for the box, but they're not the 1, 5. That's 2 digits. So these are down to 3 digits or fewer. I actually can see that this isn't 6. So this is going to be 2 digits. So what are those 3 digits? Well, it's not the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 6, 7, 8. And this one's not a 6. So I always find it's worth marking a cell that has 3 or fewer open cells. We did place this 4, and I like to react to that if it did reduce, in this case, the column to 4 open cells. So we're going to scan this as well. We're just going to think about the digits we need. We already know this isn't a 3, so we know it's going to be markable. So we need the 1, 3, 6, 8. And I like to think about it first before I just blindly mark it. It gives me a better concept of what I'm looking for. So the first thing I'm noticing is that this can't be 8 and this can't be 8. And so the 8, it got limited to these two. I did notice it lines up with these 8s, but it's because we already have the 8 placed here. So the 3 and 8 are down here. So this is down to 1, 6. Remember, it was 1, 3, 6, 8. And because this isn't 8, this is 1, 3, 6. This isn't 3 or 6, so this is 1, 8. And this can be any of 1, 3, 6, 8. So we don't mark that because it's 4 digits left. All right. I think that's it for that band. We're going to move on to the next band here. Notice how much we were able to squeeze out of the puzzle just by kind of focusing on this band and reacting to placed digits. In fact, we could have also reacted to this 8 by just marking 8s here instead of waiting for to do the stack, but not super important. We'll get there eventually. So this band here, I always like to start with the box with the fewest givens in it. So we have the 1 and the 6. The 6 does have a buddy. I always look for buddies first. All these 6s look in, putting a 6 in one of these two. Now for the 1, what are we looking for? We're looking for 1s in these 4 cells and how they affect these 2 boxes. So this 1 and this 1 do put a 1 in one of these 2 cells. That's it. That's the only buddy one in these four, right? So now we're going to look at the 239, which has this box has the second fewest givens, the middle number. So we do have this 2 here. That does have a buddy. And then this looks up. That does place a 2 here. I know I'm noticing when I placed that 2, it removed an 8 corner mark. So what I want to do is I want to react to it. If there was only one 8 corner mark left, then I would place it. But there's 2 8 corner marks left, but I want to see if that makes it, now that it's down to 2, I want to see if that makes it line up with this box or this box. It doesn't, but it takes a glance, right? Better to glance than to not and miss it. All right, so that was the 2. We also have the 3 here. Again, nobody for the 3. We already have it marked in this box, so we just care about how it affects this box because we already scanned this box for 3s. And we do have these 3s looking in here. Puts a 3 in one of these two. All right. Finally, the 9 here. Honestly, like, we don't even need to use this 9, but the 9 caused me to scan 9s. This 9 looks up here. I don't know why it took me so long to see this. I was actually looking at this stack for a bit, but now we see it. This 9 looks up here. That leaves 9 in one of these two. We could leave this as just a corner mark 3 and 9, but we can do something more powerful, which is that we found what's called a hidden pair. So both the 3 and the 9 have been reduced to just these 2 cells. Basically, this corner mark is telling us, hey, 3 is in one of these 2 cells, but also 9 is in one of these 2 cells. They can't both be in the same cell, so one will be 3 and one will be 9. That means they can't be any other digit, only the 3, 9, which means this is going to be a triple of the, let's see, it's going to be 1, 4, 8. So the only thing I can clean up is this 1 here, but this 1, 4, 8 triple does affect the column. 1, 4, and 8 are going to be here, so they can't also be here because the column can only have 1 of each. So this can't be 8, for example, and this can't be 1, for example. So I like to think about, because it's down to 4, I like to think about what are the remaining 4 digits. We need the 2, 5, 6, 7. 2, 5, 6, 7. Well, this can't be 2, so we know this is down to 5, 6, 7. This can't be 2 either. This is down to 5, 6, 7. And so where's the 2 in the column? The 2 only goes there. And that's why we look. All right. Would have seen that when we scanned this stack, but it would have been a while before we saw that. So we still have to do this band and this band before we do this stack. All right. I mean, we don't have to, but I like to go in order so that I don't miss anything, and to make these solves easier to follow. Okay, I mean, there's nothing that's going to affect this box that we're going to learn other than this triple and this pair right now. Unless there was pointing over here that I forgot about, but there's not. So I did basically, let's see, we can think about the 2, 5, 6, 7 and how they affect these boxes. So 2s are already done. The 6s we have marked. How about 5 and 7? So yeah, this 7 looks in here, this 7 looks up. That puts a 7 in one of these 2 cells. That's going to point in here along with this 7. Whenever you get a crossing like that, it always does useful pointing. Well, almost always. There's always exceptions, but you always look for it. Follow up on the pointing is what I mean. So 7 is down here. What the important bit is, now we know this cell's not 7. And you can look at the consequence to the column and things like that as well. There's not much, but so that was the 7. Does the 5 do anything? We do have this 5 and this 5, but it's not enough. It limits 5 to these 3 cells. I'm noticing this cell here is avoiding a good number of corner marks. So we have the 2, 3, 9 already placed in the box, and then we have the 1, 6, 7, 8 corner marked. So that's 7 digits already that this can't be. So what can it be? Well, it can't be 1, 2, 3. It could be 4. It could be 5. Make sure to reference the corner marks as well. It can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. So it's down to 4, 5 only. I'm looking up, I'm looking left, I'm looking in the box for a pair. Someone made fun of me for, as I was saying that, I was missing a pair, but at least look, even if you don't end up seeing it. No one's perfect. All right, so I think I'm good on this band. I think that's it. So this last band here, we have the 2s already done, so we can ignore those. We have this 9. It doesn't really do anything with that 9 there, so there's not much to do with that. We have the 2, 3, and 8. 2s are done. So the 3 and the 8. 8's already marked here and here, so we don't need to worry about that. We do have this 3 and this 3, but they don't work together very well. It puts the 3 over here. I'm looking at 8, 2, 3 in reference to this row, but it's really not helpful. So we also have the 2, 6, 7. 2s are done. This 6 and these two 6s look down. It does place the 6 in this box. So this can't be 6. And as soon as I clear that 6, what I'm doing is I'm looking at how it affects the column. Because now there's one fewer place on the column for a 6. Now you can see it ends up being up here. There's a 6 in one of these two. And this does what we explained claiming already, but this is claiming. So in this column, the 6 has to be in one of these two cells. So how could we put a 6 here? Well, we can't, because then there'd be nowhere to put 6 in this column. So if the 6 is in one of these two cells, it can't also be here, because these both happen to be in the same box. So that makes this a 1. That makes that an 8. And then we're left with this 6 tells us that can't be 6. So that's our 6 and that's our 3. This 8 does clear out that 8 as well. This can't be 1 anymore. We're down to 5, 6, 7, 8. This can't be the 6. So this is 5, 7. And it can't be 8 either. So 8 can only go here in the box. Very nice. I don't think it's helpful to have these corner marks anymore, so we're going to remove it. Any clutter you can remove can really help you focus on what's important. But make sure it's actually useful to remove the clutter, or it's not useful to keep it. We need 1, 4, 5, 7 in this box. We already know that the 1 and 4 are limited to these 3 cells. But that's not super helpful. There's no 1s or 4s or 5s. There's just the 7 here. So I guess this is 1, 4, 5. This whole row is 1, 4, 5. And these two can't be a 1. So actually, for the row, we do need a 1, and it can only be here. So that's our 1. And now these are 4, 5, 7. The rest of this row is 4, 5, not resolved. We might be getting to the point soon where we just constantly have rows, columns, or boxes down to 4 or fewer, and then we just jump around between them, penciling them, seeing what's left, and that generally finishes the puzzle. But we may not quite be there yet. What I'm doing right now is I see these are open. I'm looking at these digits to see which ones aren't placed in this box, especially non-4, 5s. So the 1 is interesting to me because the 1 looks down here, and we know it's not it's a non-4, 5. It's because of this one here. So that does put a 1 in one of these two cells. Same here, especially if anything's looking through here. Unfortunately, 2, 6, and 8 are already placed in the box. Okay. So I think that's all I get out of that band. I don't know if I missed anything, but actually the 3. So this 3 looks in, this 3 looks down. That puts a 3 in one of these two. Oh, we already have. Oh, I guess I didn't find all the buddies. We did place a bunch of digits, so let's re-look for buddies. So the 2s are done. The 3s are marked. The 1s, actually, this one and this one, yeah, not quite good enough. They're here. All right. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't know much about. 5, 6s are done. 7 doesn't do anything. And then 8, they're done. 9 doesn't really do much. Okay, so yeah, we're done with this band. This stack is already fully marked. We don't need to look at it. This stack here, I'm going to start with the 1, 2, and 6 here. 6s are done. 2s are not, so they look up here. This 2 looks in, putting a 2 in one of these two cells. And then the 6s are done. 1s, okay, are marked. So other than 1 and 6, we have 5 and 8. These two 8s do look in. Oh, we have that marked already. The 5, unfortunately, so we're looking at 5s in these 4 boxes, right? The boxes that aren't part of its band or stack. And unfortunately, we don't get much out of that. And how it affects these 2 boxes. So nothing there. Other than that, we do have the 3. The 3 is marked up here, but not up here. That's because we can't. 6 and 8. All right, that's it. That's it for that band. I don't think there's any geometry of note. So this sorry, not band, stack. This stack here, the stack is a band, just rotated 90 degrees. But anyway, we got the 1 and the 8. I think I already checked the 1 and the 8 in this column. It hasn't. The story hasn't changed. How's it? Yeah, we already know about the 1 in this box as well. We've got the 2, 3, and 9. So we do have these two 2s looking up. Puts a 2 in one of these two cells. The 3 and the 9. So 3, unfortunately, is in these 3. 9, I don't think we can do much at all with. We already have it marked here. Yeah, and then we've got 2, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we finished our initial band and stack scanning, and we didn't finish the puzzle, obviously. So the first thing I'm going to look for is, are there any rows, columns, boxes down to 4 or fewer that I might have missed or not marked? Or are there any with 5 left that look like they might be significantly, like they might be worth examining more closely, I guess is the way to put that. So for example, this row maybe, because I have these 2s corner marked here and here, which means these aren't 2. So they're already potentially markable. So let's think about it. We need the 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, I just like to double check it's the correct number of numbers. 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 7, right? So 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. We know these aren't 2s. And we have this 6 and 7 over here. So we can already mark 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, clear out the 2s, clear out the 6 and the 7. I didn't have to write the 2. But, this one's not a 3, but unfortunately it can be a 2, 4, 6, 7. This can't be a 6, but it can be a 2. Okay, so these are the only 2 that were markable in that row. They don't seem to do anything. Okay, so anything else that I might want to look more closely at? The other thing we might want to look for are boxes with a whole lot of corner marks in them, and then look at cells that are avoiding all or most of those corner marks. Maybe this box here. No, because we only have the 1 and the 8 looking in. The 6, the 2, the 3, and the 2. The only thing is this can't be 3 or 2. So I suppose this can be marked. So it's not 1, 2, 3. It could be 4. It's not 5, 6. It could be 7, not 8. It could be 9. So if you know ahead of time that it's going to be down to 3 or fewer, that helps in terms of marking, knowing what to expect. We do have these claiming 5s. These aren't 5. So maybe this cell here. Notice we have the 2, 5, and 9 corner marked. It might not be enough, but it can't be 1, 2. Could be 3, 4. Can't be 5 because we have these corner marks here. Can't be 6. Could be 7. Can't be 8 or 9. All right, 3, 4, 7. That matches this one. That always makes me suspicious, right? We just need one more to match to make it triple. The only one that could, right? Because this introduces a 5, these introduce 8s, 1s. So this cell would be the only one that could match a 3, 4, 7 triple. So, but I can already see it can be a 1. So it doesn't, right? So we don't need to really worry too much about that. In the box also we can't. 3, 4, 6, 7, 2. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go, because I don't really see anywhere else that I truly want to mark up. I'm going to go box by box and just look really carefully about pointing, claiming, maybe anything that, like buddies that I might have missed, like especially paying attention to the blue digits that I might not have followed up on completely, or maybe now have a follow-up that I missed because of more other deductions, right? So I'm looking at how the 5s point. I'm looking at how the 6s point. I'm looking at how we have the 1, 4, and 8 placed now. So the 1s are done here, the 4s and the 8s. 8s are done here and here, basically. 4s are basically done here. I mean, I'm not going to learn anything new about this stack, so it's really just this band I want to look at. But there's not much there. All right, so over here, we've got the 1, 5, 6, 8. We also have the pointing 2s. Pointing 2s don't do anything, so we don't need to worry about it, because we already have 2s here and here. So does the 8 do anything? We already have them marked here. Oops, right here. All right, next box, we do have the 2s pointing, doesn't do anything. We've got the 5s pointing, claiming, we took care of that. No place digits. 9s are here. What about 6? No, unfortunately 6 is not limited enough. All right, this box here, we really just care about the horizontal because the vertically is, this stack's not going to get any help on its own. 3, 9, 4, 8. Something I'm noticing is the 8 Can only go here or here in the row. It doesn't really do anything, but sometimes noticing stuff like that can help. Maybe I should just look at this row. What does it need? It needs a 1, 4, 5, 7, 8. 1, 4, 5, 7, 8. We know this one's not 7 or 8. So this is 1, 4, 5. None of these are 1. So these are from 4, 5, 7, 8. So these aren't the 8, and they're not the 1. So these are 4, 5, 7. And this one's not the 5. So this is 4, 7, 8. 4, 5, 7. Nope. I feel like we just need one little deduction to just tip us over the edge and everything will collapse, but I have not found it yet. I apologize if you're seeing it, and I'm not. It happens. Okay, so I've got the 3s, I've got the 8s. I placed this 2. We're gonna have that marked. Yeah. We know this one's not 7. Does that help us? Because I have these. I'm looking. Oh no, it already has a 7 in the row. I'm trying to find like non-trivial corner marks, like corner marks that actually eliminate digits that we may not have center marked yet. Those are usually like a really good place to look when you're stuck like this. That's what I'm looking at, all of my corner marks. Over here, we do have the 1s, we have the 8s, 7s. Sometimes I kind of wish I had like different colors that I could do for corner marks so that I could like call out corner marks that are actually doing deductions, like straight up like eliminations on their own. What's a good example of that? Like these 5s and these 5s, like I'd make them a different color. I would keep these 5s in. I'd make these a different color to remind me that this can't be 5 and this can't be 5. I already looked at this cell though, and it can be too many digits to mark, and that's why I would want these 5s to be a different color to remind me. Wait, I have this 4-5 pair here. When did that appear? It's amazing how long I can just miss that. And isn't this the cell I had highlighted when I was talking about when you got a scan for it? But unfortunately, this wasn't marked yet. So 4-5 pair, this might be what we need. Let's look at the remaining digits, because there's 4 digits remaining and they aren't the 4-5, right? So we need the 2, 6, 7, 9. 2, 6, 7, 9. So we know this is not the 2, 6, or 7. So this is a naked 9. And I think that's going to help considerably, because that removed this 9 corner mark, leaving only one 9 corner mark, meaning we can place the 9 in the box. That removed a 5 corner mark, letting us place the 5 and the 7. Okay, that's not a 7. That's not a 7. And actually, I had noted to myself that if I eliminate 7 from here, we do get this 4-5 pair. So now that has appeared. So the remaining 3 digits here, we can always just mark because there's 3 left. We need the 2, 3, and 9. So that's not 2, that's not 9. That does make a 3-9 pair here. I might be getting to the point where I get too much that I can't follow up on everything, but this 3-9 pair does leave 1, 4, 5, 8. This one's not 5, this one's not 5, and this one's not 5. So 5 in this row can only go here. That gives us the 4 and the 5 and the 4 here. These cannot be 4s, and in fact we can place the 1, which places the 8 and the 7 and the 5, gets us the 4 and the 1. That's not a 1. Okay. 3-9 pair still, so this is now, what is it, 4 and 8? Okay, it is resolved. They have this 4 here. That's 8, that's 4. What did that remove? That removed an 8 corner mark. So the 8 now goes there, the 7 and the 6. All right, yeah, that was it. We needed this 4-5 pair. That was all we needed. This 3-7 pair does eliminate 3 from here. That's a 4. It also eliminates 3 from here, placing that 3. This digit is the 1. We still need a 1 in the column. That's a 1. This digit is a 5. We get the 7 and 4 and 5. We get our 6, 7, and 5. We get our 3 and 7. That's not a 3 anymore. 2, 3, 4, 9. Not a 2, so it's 3, 4, 9. Oh, it's not a 3 either. 3 in the row. 4, 9 pair. This is 2, 9. It's not a 9. So, sorry, it's not a 9. So that's our 2 and our 9. Nope. Hold on. It's not 2, 9. It's just I saw this and thought that would be the same. But this 4, 9 pair makes that a 2. So that's 3, that's 2. This is something other than 9. This is a 6. Okay. That's 9 and 3. That's 3 and 9. Last 3 digits are 4, 7, and 9. So where's 4 go in this box? 4 goes somewhere up here. The 7 goes here. So that makes that the 4, the 9 and the 4. And the 9. And we're done. All right. Took me a while, but I figured today was a good day to talk about scanning strategy, geometry, things like that, the basic techniques and how they work. So I hope this was helpful for you. Really good ways to, like, what are you looking for when you get stuck? In this case, I was missing this 4-5 pair for a while. I didn't follow my own advice. I don't know what happened to make this a 4-5 when that happened, but when that happened, I did not follow up and see the 4-5 pair. And like I said, if you don't see it when you mark it, it can be really hard to see later. Sometimes you can glance over it a bunch of times and just never see it. And so that's why I went box by box and I just like re-looked at as much as I could just to make sure I gave everything its full vision. Just to see what I was missing, and eventually I saw this 4-5 pair. All right. So yeah, hope that was helpful. Let me know how you did, and if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.